Hello, in this video we're going to discuss advice for law enforcement agencies, wicked people at hospitals. So these elusive people have existed for many years in hospitals. In the past, in the early days, they used to dress similar, some of them used to dress similar to nuns with the type of headdress nuns wear. But they were actually witches. There is a combination of witches and Wiccans that work in hospitals. And here are some of the things that they get up to. Nowadays they often wear black. So here's something that they do. Heckling of patients. People that they normally go after are Christians, and in particular children. So if a child, especially those suffering cancer and undergoing cancer treatment, often get heckled by these people. Another thing that they do is Wiccans and witches go into hospitals and occupy beds. They go into the room and the hospital staff have to waste time with these idiots. They don't want them in there, but because they're a witch or a Wiccan, they can occupy that bed, sleep in it, lay in it all day, and harass all the other patients in the room. This has been going on for a long time, and the hospital staff have to put up with it. In particular, if people are dying, they'll heckle them. If their families are there to see them, they'll heckle them. When a Wiccan or a witch establishes dominance over a victim, then they become louder and more vocal. They also arrange for only witches and Wiccans to be in the room. And then you'll hear a lot of 666 going on and people cursing. They also sabotage treatment and steal drugs. So if a person is supposed to undergo surgery, they'll remove the anesthetic that is supposed to remove pain and swap it with water. They have chemicals that they can use as well, working with the anesthesist. They can arrange for a person to experience pain throughout the process of surgery. A lot of surgery is done unnecessarily because of witches and Wiccans. There are things that exist in hospitals and in the medical practice that should not be there. They're not part of the tech tree. One of these is the smear test. A smear test can easily be sabotaged and arranged for a person to be misdiagnosed with cancer, and then they're undergoing the trauma of going through cancer treatment when there's nothing wrong with them. Many celebrities have suffered this, and as a direct result of witches and Wiccans. They earn Bitcoin for doing it to other people. So that's why they go in there and sabotage things like that and misdiagnose stuff. They also dress as doctors and give people bad news or misdiagnose them. The other thing that they do is steal babies. So babies are taken from hospitals in front of their families and never seen or heard from ever again. Often they're murdered or used for a sacrifice. Sometimes they're taken away and raised with a very bad upbringing and sexually abused throughout their upbringing. And they wind up lackeys. So people can also go missing from a hospital. It is because of these criminals going in there. They have some sort of control over nurses and doctors in order to allow them to do this sort of thing and get away with it. So somewhere in the hierarchy of hospitals, they do this. The other thing is the horrendous nature of the shift system that doctors and nurses have to work with. They work in terrible shift patterns. For doctors and nurses listening now, I'll give you some advice on an ideal shift pattern for you. 3 days, 3 nights, 3 days off. You have 3 shifts and it works. I'm the Archangel Daniel and I'm from heaven.